So, you gave a Zeta to Emperor Palpatine. You were so excited for that rework, and you gave that Zeta to Palpatine. And then...
I immediately regret this decision.
My brothers, fear not. You do not need to regret that Zeta. In my opinion, that was a very well spent Zeta, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why. Let's go! That is right, my friends, and look at this team right here. We have got Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Darth Nihilus, and Imperial Probe Droid. I am throwing speed stats on the screen. Right now, a quick disclaimer, you can see that Imperial Probe Droid has a 30 and a 101. That's because these first two battles here, I actually only had 30 speed on my Imperial Probe Droid. I had 5 mods missing from him. I forgot to mod him, and he still works in this team. And then I modded him for the remaining battles. So these first two battles you see here, he has 30 speed. And then the next battles, everything else, he's going to have 101. This is an awesome team, especially on offense. And it's kind of the product of a conversation I had with Arnold. We were talking about how we could get Palpatine and Vader to work together. And this was a team that I personally really liked. He actually likes subbing out Darth Nihilus for General Kenobi, and he will be posting a video on that team later. But let me tell you why I like this team. You can see it against Team Titan right now. This team, in my opinion, is very formidable. You're going to be able to do a lot with this Palpatine, and let's see, I really like having Imperial Probe Droid in there, and Grand Admiral Thrawn in particular. When Palpatine uses that let the hate flow, it will take a little bit of health off of everyone in the whole field of play, which enables Imperial Probe Droid to use that self-destruct, which makes him very, very useful in the battle. But before, the problem was Palpatine's just not very survivable, and so once you have Imperial Probe Droid use that ability, you're stuck with Palpatine. You've got to find a way to survive that battle with Palpatine. Now Palpatine is survivable, and when you put Grand Admiral Thrawn with him in particular, he's going to have that protection gain of 40%, which is more now. That goes a longer way because he has that increased max protection in his kit. So 40% protection is a lot more than it used to be for Emperor Palpatine. You can also see the team here against Rey Jedi Training. It absolutely works against Rey Jedi Training. You can see the speed stats here for that team. I am sorry, I wasn't able to get speed stats for the other teams I faced, but every Rey Jedi Training team I face will have these same speed stats. It was my friend Leon, one of the other game changers over in Germany, who put this team in for me and modded it very well. A couple disclaimers about the team that you do need to be aware of. First and foremost, Imperial Probe Droid is a character that doesn't work, in my opinion, that well on defense, because you really need to know how to use him to self-destruct the right person. If you do it too early in the battle on defense and he self-destructs the wrong person, it might not be that worth it to you. And after that self-destruct, then it can be a bit of a challenge to win the battle, because we're going to be down to 4 characters pretty quickly. However, if you use it right, you're able to take out Rey Jedi Training, or maybe Commander Luke, or maybe General Kenobi when he's at full protection. It is very, very beneficial to you. Another disclaimer, while Palpatine has improved on his survivability, he is still a bit squishy, especially if Rey Jedi Training attacks him right out the gate, which you did see in this battle. It's already passed, but Rey right at the beginning was able to apply that health immunity on Palpatine, and then he was down pretty quick, and you can see that this battle ended up being a bit closer as a result of it. However, we are still able to win the battle, so I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a deal breaker for you, but something you do need to be aware of is if Palpatine does get hit and targeted early, it could make the battle a bit more complicated for you. You can see here as well, here's another Rey Jedi Training team. This is a different Rey Jedi Training team with different stats, but they do have Old Ben in there with Commander Luke, Rey, BB-8, and R2-D2. I do have my Darth Vader sped up very, very quickly here, and keep in mind all of the Zetas are on this team. Everything's maxed out. This is on my test account. I don't personally have these characters farmed up completely yet, or have the Zetas ready to give to them, but I do have that Zeta on Darth Vader's unique, which makes him very, very fast. And so it's nice to have a lot of speed on him. I have 129 speed on this Vader. That's a fast, very fast Vader. And when you combine it with the Zeta ability, you notice here that Darth Vader is getting a lot of turns. I really like having a fast Vader because he's going to be able to hit through foresight for any Rebel or any Jedi, and almost any team that you're facing here is going to have Rebels and Jedi, especially Commander Luke, or at least R2-D2 is going to be on most of those Rey Jedi training teams, which I think tends to be one of the biggest struggles for these teams. This team also performs very well against Nightsisters. You can see I'm showing a battle here right now. This Nightsister team, this is Nukin who put this in. Thanks, Nukin, for putting the team in. He does have a high-geared Nightsister Zombie, which is a lot of us didn't, when we first got Nightsister Zombie, we didn't realize how important it was going to be to not have gear on Nightsister Zombie. So that is a disclaimer on this team on the test account. However, some things to keep in mind. You might have to self-destruct General Kenobi with those Nightsister teams, as I just tried to do. I don't know why that didn't kill General Kenobi. I thought that self-destruct was an insta-kill. So if somebody knows of some caveat, I'm not looking at the kit right now verbatim. I'm not sure why that would be. But ideally, I'm probably going to want to self-destruct Talzin or Old Daka. Those are the characters I'm going to want to get out of there right away. The character you really probably want to get out of the way as soon as possible is going to be Asajj Ventress. But because, Daka and Talzin are going to have that revive capability, it's kind of pointless to go for her too early because she's probably just going to come back. And then of course right there I skipped using Annihilate because there's no reason to Annihilate Zombie. I'd rather use that on somebody else. I also really like having Darth Nihilus in this team. He has a kit that I just think is really, really nice. Having that health down Zeta is really good if you already have that. That's one of my only dark side Zetas that I have on my main account for now. And he also is going to have an ability to Annihilate, which I think is really nice to have with both Imperial Probe Droid and Nihilus. You've got two Annihilates, basically. Now, the big disclaimer that I gave for this team is that I don't feel like Imperial Probe Droid is the best option for defense, and so I decided to sub out Imperial Probe Droid for General Kenobi. I'm leaving Nihilus in there, so it'll be Palpatine, Vader, Grand Admiral Thrawn, General Kenobi, and Darth Nihilus. And I found this team to be very, very effective. You can see the speed stats here for that team. They're the same on every character, but I do have plus 93 on General Kenobi. And I'm going to fight Leon's Rey Jedi training team here. I'm going to throw his speed stats up there again, just as a refresher. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this team was amazing. Using this team made me really excited about Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. I am personally farming them on my main account, but this to me was the deal breaker. It seemed to fill all of the holes. I love having Imperial Probe Droid in there, but there's two caveats to it for me. Number one is a lot of you aren't going to have Imperial Probe Droid yet. That is a character that takes a long time to unlock, or if you're not in a guild that has the dark side ready for it, you're probably not going to have him for the foreseeable future. Another caveat to it is that I just don't feel like he's the best defensive character. I don't know if the AI knows how to use him enough. So sub him out and put General Kenobi in there, and all of a sudden your team becomes a lot more survivable. And it seemed to take the team, in my opinion, to the next level of good, at least on defense. You can see here I'm going against these Rey Jedi training teams, and I have no problem beating these Rey Jedi training teams once I throw General Kenobi in there. It doesn't feel like a variable. And so it even got me thinking, how would this team do on full auto against Rey Jedi training teams? That seems to be the biggest thing. A lot of people, when we first came out with the Emperor Palpatine reworks and everyone was starting to play around with them, a lot of people were hesitant. They didn't feel like it was very good because they were struggling against a lot of those Rey Jedi training teams. And so some people started writing it off and said, this is not a very good rework. I don't think this is very effective. It's not working. It's not very good on defense. At a minimum, I'm struggling to win against these Rey Jedi training teams. And that didn't sit well with me because it just looked so good on paper. It's confused me. This to me does the reworks justice. This is where I see the reworks working as intended. I do know that Arnold has subbed out Nihilus in favor of Imperial Probe Droid on this very same team and had success, but this is the team that I personally feel is very good. And so I tested it out on auto. Let me throw up here 4 auto battles against this Rey Jedi training team. This is full auto where I take off the target lock, and you can see here watching all 4 of these battles on the screen right now. All 4 of them, all 4 end in a victory. And I tested this more. I don't want to overkill and show you guys 50 battles, but I tried this 10 times against the same team. There's only 4 recorded videos here that are all victories, and out of those 10 auto battles that I did, and this is full auto, removing that target select, I won 9 out of 10 battles with this team. Now, this does not mean that this is a foolproof defensive team. These Rey Jedi training teams, I'm confident that they would beat this team if they were actually controlling the team. However, when you are able to win on full auto against anyone, it is a pretty strong commentary how that team is going to be performing on defense, because really in reality almost anybody can beat anybody, but not everybody can beat everybody on full auto. It shows you that there's a lot of there's more brain power that is required to go into the attack strategy in order for the other team to win, whereas in this case this team is able to manhandle those teams. You definitely need to have the Zetas in place. And on the subject of the Zetas, I think the Zetas, I would say, are probably the most important to the team. I would say Palpatine's leader is definitely going to be very important. I would say Vader's unique feels important to me as well. The others are probably just going to be nice to have. I really like having Nihilus's unique ability. I don't think you necessarily need ebb and flow Zeta on Grand Admiral Thrawn, but that would be nice to have as well. But having that leader ability on Palpatine and Vader's unique to speed him up work very well. All right, my brothers, I hope this video was helpful for you. For those of you who love the Empire and were so excited about these reworks, you can rest easy. I don't think that this was a wasted rework. In fact, I feel like this team works very well enough that we can auto the meta team on full auto and do pretty well. Now, this is not a perfect experiment. I'm sure there are other compositions that you guys would love to see this against. I can't show every single little thing in one video, but the teams that I was able to fight with this team today do give me an encouraging perspective on how these reworks have panned out, and I am more happy now to give an endorsement of the reworks and say, if you guys are looking to farm Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine and put Zetas on them, I think you should totally do it. This is a team that will work very well for you, and I don't feel like you regret it. In fact, I think it even works a little bit better than Rey Jedi Training, especially because Rey Jedi Training in particular is going to struggle against those Nightsister teams. This team does not. But whatever the case is, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, of course, give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, hit that button and turn on the notifications button so that you can receive up-to-date current information on when I am sharing videos. We have a lot of fun stuff hitting the game right now. I'm sure there's a lot more to come as we get ready for our trip over to EA. A lot of us Game Changers are going out there here at the end of the month. So thank you so much for the support. And as always, my brothers, don't forget.
Dead body. Sorry about the mess.